Howdy folks, Jambareeqi here. Pixar SparkShorts program is a project series that lets Pixar employees create their own animated shorts under 6 months. The personal freedom granted to each SparkShort director has inspired cartoons that are notably progressive, culturally representational, and artistically experimental. In this video, I'm going to count down my top 5 favourite SparkShorts, the ones that stood out to me the most. Burrow. When a little bunny tries to build their burrow, the other underground animals are eager to help, but the bunny wants to do everything themselves, and assumes the worst of their fellow critters. The bunny digs so far away from everyone though, that they accidentally create a dangerous water leak. Left with nowhere to go, the bunny turns to a badger, who calls for a band of animals to help. After the water is redirected, the rabbit feels more confident about asking for assistance, and all the other animals help this bunny to bring their dream home to life. Burrow teaches that we shouldn't have to do everything by ourselves. Good communities who look out for each other and respect each other's personal wishes can exist. It's possible. The bunny is so damn cute as well, like insanely adorable. We feel for them so much, because we see their passion for their perfect home, and want the best for this innocent rabbit. The whole short has this wonderful art style too. It looks like a sweet children's picture book, and sort of like Wind in the Willows meets Sylvanian Families. Burrow looks so pretty and fluidly animated that it makes me crave a hand-drawn Pixar feature so much. The whole cartoon is undeniably lovely to look at, and I really adore its optimistic message about community. 20-something, Gia has recently turned 21 years old, and her older sister is taking her clubbing to celebrate. However, Gia is so anxious in this environment that she feels like 3 kids hiding under a trench coat. This short is universally relatable for every grown-up. That insecurity we feel once we hit adult age is something everyone goes through. Heck, even I resonate with Gia's feelings in this short. Once you reach your 20s, you're pushed into this alien world full of new mature experiences. We pressure ourselves to be just as confident and cool as every other adult, but it's that self-imposed anxiety that makes us feel even worse. 20-something teaches that turning a certain age doesn't mean that you'll suddenly magically become a different person. Parts of our inner child will always remain, because those stages in our life shaped us all. 10, 16 and 1 are given strong personalities that authentically reflect the ages they represent. It's their vivid characterizations that make us believe that we're seeing Gia at different age numbers.
We should just give up. Hide in here for the rest of our life.
No! What are we saying? We're an adult now! This is what we've been training for!
I also really respect director Afton Corbin for taking the huge risk of keeping everything ambiguous. 20-something doesn't hold your hand, the metaphor is here to be interpreted. Corbin trusts her audience. By the end, Gia's sister comforts her, letting her know that no adult does everything perfect, and that we're all struggling just as much as each other. A sentiment that's beautifully expanded on when we return to the dance floor, and every grown-up is shown to be just a big kid deep down. Gia carries on a night with a newfound confidence, but doesn't let go of her childhood, and instead lets 10, 16 and 1 be part of her. This SparkShort deserves far more appreciation. Its premise will speak to everyone out there, but particularly black women, who rarely get their perspectives on life represented in animated media. Loop. At a summer camp, a boy named Marcus is paired up with a non-verbal autistic girl called Renee for a canoeing session. Unfortunately, Marcus doesn't know how to connect with Renee, and has to learn about her autism firsthand to better understand her. I'm personally diagnosed with autism myself. It's not as severe as Renee's, because we're on different ends of the spectrum, yet I still saw my condition being better represented than ever in this short. Every autistic tic and trait is shown, including echolalia, hypersensitivity, and stimming. Renee isn't some magic pixie girl here to enchant or inspire neurotypical audiences. She's a fully dimensional person, a Pixar character who happens to be autistic. Pixar actually put a lot of work into representing autistic children the best they could. They not only consulted an autism advocacy network for feedback and advice, but also cast an actual non-verbal autistic girl called Maddie to do Renee's voice.
What's that face?
Scared.
How does it sound?
Renee! Calm down, we're okay.
I also really like that Marcus isn't framed as a bad or rude kid. He's just a teenager who feels nervous about interacting with a spectrum he knows nothing about. As the short goes on, Marcus tries his best to communicate with Renee, and learns so many things about her condition throughout their day together. He uses this newfound knowledge to reach out to her, and even finds a way to comfort her after she has a meltdown. At the start of the short, Renee struggled to give Marcus eye contact, a common autistic difficulty, but she ends up being so comfortable around him that she eventually looks him in the eyes by the short's end. Loop stands on its own merits as a great Pixar cartoon, but it can also be seen as testament to good autism representation, a lesson on how neurotypical kids can become friends with neurodivergent children, and something that will spark adults to discuss the importance of teaching neurotypical kids about autism. Out. Greg has just moved house with his boyfriend Manuel. Suddenly, Greg's parents, who Greg hasn't come out to yet, turn up at the door. So Greg nervously ushers his boyfriend out of the house, and Manuel insists that Greg tells his parents about them. Meanwhile, a magic cat and dog have appeared nearby from the rainbow heavens. The cat sends an enchanted spell down to Greg's dog Jim's collar. While Greg is talking to Jim, he accidentally wishes he could switch places with his dog. Greg needs to get the collar back from Jim, but it's difficult when he's now in a dog's body. At the same time, Greg tries desperately hard to hide a photo of himself and Manuel from his parents. As a bisexual man myself, I can't describe how much I love the existence of this Pixar short. Queer people are deeply underrepresented in the animation industry, so it's refreshing to see Pixar giving us a leading spotlight in one of their cartoons. The short does a brilliant job at showing how hard it can be for someone queer to come out. Coming out is really scary. Even when you're opening up to loved ones, the short gets this and sympathizes with Greg's fears.
He thinks it's so easy. Just look them in the eyes and say, "Mom, Dad, this is my boyfriend, Manuel."
But at the same time, we see how Greg's choice to stay in the closet can hurt others too. From making Manuel feel like he's an embarrassment to Greg's mum feeling like she can't be trusted to hear the truth from her own son. The fantasy element of Out gives it a lot of whimsical flair too. I love how these heavenly animal beings can be seen as gods of gayness, or ghosts of deceased queer icons. Oh, and it makes me smile hearing disco music, an anthem of gay culture, playing in the background when Greg and Jim switch bodies. The whole body switching dynamic inspires some very, very funny humour too. It's hilarious seeing this grown man behaving like an excitable dog, and doing embarrassing things that Greg would never do. After Greg bites his mum's arm in a panic to stop her from seeing the photo, his mother opens up to Jim about her pain, from sharing how Greg's choice to move far away makes her miss him, to the fact that she's always known he's gay, and she accepts that. While that might seem like a big twist to audiences, this does actually happen. I think my parents worked out I wasn't entirely straight before I did. I also love that Greg's dad, who has been seen as this macho silent character for the whole short, is the first to hug Manuel with open arms, grateful to the man who makes his son happy. This bit always makes me cry. Out isn't just a charmingly animated body swap comedy with a lot of heart. It's also a milestone for queer animated cinema. Nona. In this short, a grandma called Nona is excited to watch a special wrestling event. However, her granddaughter has dropped off, and she suddenly has to play babysitter. Nona struggles between focusing on her TV and keeping her child entertained. The granddaughter wants Nona's attention so much that she dangerously copies the television wrestling. Nona saves her kid, but breaks the TV by accident, which sends her into tears. So her granddaughter cheers her up by getting her to play pretend wrestling. Nona is very much about how we dedicate ourselves to something so much that we forget about the world around us, and the loved ones who want to be with us. Now, if Nona was just pushing aside a grandkid for a favourite TV programme, then we wouldn't sympathise with her. But it's what wrestling means to Nona that makes us understand why she's so overly invested. You see, wrestling is what brings back memories of her deceased husband, and watching wrestling is like sharing a moment with a lost partner's ghost. Once the TV breaks, Nona's toughness cracks, and she becomes a vulnerable woman who just lost a coping method for her grief. But it's her grandchild's boundless energy that picks her back up, as Nona learns to not only embrace the now, but also feel like a kid again through this little girl's wild imagination. I love how this short sets out to say that real life will always trump whatever entertainment has to offer. Yes, it's okay to find comfort in media, especially if it helps you through hard times, but it's no substitute for healthy connections with the people who love us. As a YouTuber who buries my head in my work, Nona hit me home quite hard. I see myself in Nona in a way, because I have a stubborn need to commit to my craft over spending time with people in my life. This is why this SparkShort spoke to me the most. So those are my top 5 choices. Which would yours be? Let everyone know in the comment section below. And don't forget to click that like button. I've been Jambareeqi. Cheerio, folks.